Hi, I'm Cheryl Gallant. I'm here with Erin Toole, our Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, Global Affairs, and we're here to talk about something both of us really care about. Erin's being with the Caucus, and we're here in BC for our big meeting before the next session starts, and we're going to talk about our most important issues over the last 5 years that we've had.
Yeah, well, you and I, since I first became elected, we share a passion. Defense. CFB Petawawa was in your riding, and you've been a strong defender and supporter of military families and veterans. But also nuclear. I have the Darlington Generating Station in my riding. You have Chalk River, and you helped establish a caucus of parliamentarians to support the nuclear industry. So every time Cheryl and I connect, we talk those two issues, veterans, and so what do you want to talk about today?
Well, with the veterans, there was a recent announcement by the government. I'm just wondering what you're hearing in terms, because you yourself are a veteran.
Absolutely.
And in fact, a former Veterans Affairs Minister. So I'm wondering what you're hearing on the ground from the veterans community. I know what I'm hearing, and how they're reacting.
Well, look, the Liberals lied to veterans in the last election. Simple. The very fact that Minister O'Regan held a press conference a few days after Parliament left and just before Christmas shows they were trying to hide the fact they broke their promise on a lifetime pension. There basically maybe be 10% of veterans out there that might be a bit better off with this change, but they broke the promise about going back to the old Pension Act. You know, Andrew Leslie, Harjit Sajjan, all the veterans in their caucus should feel ashamed of themselves. You know, the stuff we were doing in government, you were helpful on mental health, operational stress injury clinics. We were enhancing the new Veterans Charter, and we never lied to our veterans. So that was what the announcement was about, not following through on a promise.
Right, and before people become veterans, they're of course serving military personnel. In terms of making sure our women and men in the Canadian Armed Forces have what they need to do the jobs that we ask them to do, what is your sense of the state of affairs right now with respect to equipment?
Well, look, we see the disaster of the fighter aircraft acquisition, where the Trudeau government, Justin Trudeau, is replacing the plane that Pierre Trudeau bought with the same plane, just with Australian flags on it. So it's a travesty. The second vote the Liberals had as a government was to withdraw some of our combat troops in the fight against ISIS. So right from the start, we saw a disrespect for the military. We've seen a terrible travesty to one of the senior admirals in the Navy who was cast aside because he was fighting for equipment for the men and women. So once again, we see the decade of darkness mentality with this Liberal government, and I'm glad you hold them to account in the House rather well.
Well, thank you. And now with our other common interest in the nuclear area, we went through quite a transformation at Canadian Nuclear Laboratories, formerly Chalk River and ACL. And we inherited some problems when we first became government, but we overcame them. And now we see a whole new transition happening. It's going from an old, tired, just research to a brand new university-like campus with different areas of research that are going on, and a brand new opportunity in the field of nuclear energy with respect to the small modular reactors.
The modular reactors, the ability to perhaps change some weapon-grade materials into energy products using Canadian technology. These are issues you've been fighting for since the time I got there. Certainly some of the challenges with the production of isotopes. You got more money inserted into Chalk River to help maintain capability. I've been trying to learn from you and then use that to support the Darlington Generating Station, which is one of the OPG plants, generating about half of Ontario's electricity in greenhouse gas emission-free nuclear power. It's got to be critical for our Ontario energy mix, but the jobs we can sell around the world from this technology and the research capabilities in your riding at Chalk River is unbelievable.
And best of all, zero emissions for the environment, so it's clean. So thank you very much, Erin. It's been a pleasure talking to you about our common and shared interests. So.
Well, and I know in this session you'll go back to being a fighter for your riding and for these important issues, and I appreciate you doing that.
And thank you for all you have done for our veterans and all you continue to do.
Perfect. Thanks, Cheryl.